Hey, everyone. We are live. We are live. What's up, everybody? It's Bryce from the What's Happening podcast, and I am here on a Monday night live. What is the date? I know it's May. I just know it's May at this point. I don't even know what the date is, but it's 8:54 p.m. And this is kind of a late stream. I don't normally stream this late. I usually stream earlier. But my sleeping schedule has been kind of kicking my ass. So I've just been like, okay, night streams it is. But I'm going to get to the point of this whole stream because that's what I do. I go right into the point of everything. We're going to be reacting to TikToks, right? But not just any TikToks, right? They're going to be true crime TikToks. I did see a couple seconds of the first one, and it's kind of disturbing. And there's a trend that I'm noticing, right? Okay, let me fix my mic over here, guys. There's a trend that I'm noticing, and it's parents, right, doing stuff, bringing harm to their children. I'm just going to say it in a way so YouTube doesn't be like, okay, we're going to flag this motherfucker. There's parents that are purposefully bringing harm to their children. Like, there's like 5 cases right now that are going on. 5 cases that are going on straight up that have to do with parents and children. And I don't like that sort of thing. That sort of thing honestly makes me question why some people decide to have kids. I'm just saying. But also too, you guys see it down there, right? You guys already know what I'm gonna say, right? Please hit the subscribe and the like button, right? And if there's a little bell icon right there too, click that because you get notifications, you get everything that, and you see the Cash App down there. I know people want to act like they don't see the Cash App down there, but everybody sees the Cash App down there. If you support the show, support the streams, hit that up as well. It's not mandatory, right? It's not mandatory, but we're gonna get into it right now. All right, let me just add this. Let me just add this to the stage.
All right, son to protect him from financial.
All right, let's go.
This mother allegedly strangled her 11-year-old son to protect him from financial worries. A mother from Pennsylvania, 50-year-old Ruth DiRienzo Whitehead, has been charged with the murder of her son, Matthew. The 11-year-old's body was discovered deceased in their home by his father at around 7 a.m. in the morning. He also noticed that his wife was...
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm sorry, but if I ever found, right, one of my children, if he's just like straight up like incapacitated, I'm just gonna say that word because of YouTube. If he's straight up incapacitated, right, and the mom is responsible, I'm sorry, but I might be going to prison as well, and I might have to take the sentence as well. I'd be like, Your Honor, here, just give me life as well. Might as well. Because that's not even right. Like, how are you even supposed to move on after something like that? I'm telling you, people are just straight up evil. I swear, people are demonic nowadays.
Missing. The family's Toyota was missing as well from their drive. Ruth has defended her actions by saying that Matthew had been upset and crying off and on all day about the family's financial difficulties. She claims she didn't want him growing up that way, so she strangled him with her husband's belt.
What do you... I know there's somebody watching. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? I know what I think about it. And, coming from somebody who's had, fair share of their parents having, their mom having financial struggles, not once did my mom, right, say, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to strangle these motherfuckers with a belt. Why? Like, no. Like, because no normal, that's the thing. No normal, I don't know. I'm trying to be careful. But if you're thinking logically and rationally, that's not going to be your number one thing. Like, oh, I'm just going to, take out my kids, with a belt. No, I don't even want to say make more money because that's the obvious thing, but not everyone is in that position. But you would have just had to get the bag. I mean, what's wrong with getting the bag? Like, instead of
as he slept. The boy had ligature marks around his neck and his face was swollen. Police found the missing vehicle off Beach Avenue in Cape May, where Ruth had seemingly driven it into the ocean. She was then discovered 6 miles away. Police found the murder weapon, a black men's belt, on the floor of the driver's side of the car.
These are pictures that get worse the longer you look at them. Part 1. Up first is this picture, and at first glance, it just looks like some pillars from ancient Rome. But if you...
No, I know what they're gonna say with this shit. Y'all know what this shit look like. Don't act like y'all didn't know what this shit looked like. I knew what it looked like as soon as it popped up on the screen, and y'all didn't see my hand, but I was so quick on that touchpad to just move, right? Because I am not gonna get this shit taken down with that. No. No, I ain't getting nothing taken down. I know what, like, am I tripping? Like, is that the thing? Am I tripping?
Take a closer look and squint your eyes a little bit, you will see something kind of creepy. Right when you squint your eyes, you will see the Twin Towers burning. This is absolutely insane, and let me know if you saw it without squinting your eyes.
I didn't need to fucking squint my eyes to see that. I saw it without my eyes being squinted, honestly. That's why I had this shit so cute. I had this shit so fast. Bro, like, trying to get out here, get my whole ass channel taken down. What the fuck? Like, but it's my fault though, y'all. I don't watch these videos before I react to them. So you guys are getting like my natural reactions because I don't watch anything before I react to it. I always thought that always took away, and I could lie and I could front, but I ain't trying to do that really.
Next up is a picture of a man next to some sort of volcano opening. Or at least that's what it looks like at first glance. But if you take a closer look, it actually looks like humans being sucked into hell. This might be one of the creepiest pictures on the internet once you see it. Next up is this picture, and after looking at it once, you probably don't notice anything. But trust me, just keep looking at this photo and I guarantee you keep noticing scary things. For example, look at the waitress with the knife, look at the mom's arm, and look at the cup of coffee. Those are just...
Quiet. Hold on. Keith or Kevin. How is this true crime? That's all I want to know. How is this true crime? Is this anything to do with true crime?
3 things you could spot pretty quickly, but trust me, just keep looking. And if it helps, just pause the video or screenshot this photo.
What this man did to his 6-year-old daughter is seriously disturbing. 50-year-old John Edward Kraft from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, was arrested on the 21st of October 2022. This was after his 6-year-old daughter's siblings told police the horrors that had been going on in their house. They told police that the man had been physically and emotionally...
He looks like Walter White. Been smoking that white. Snorting that white. That's what he looked like, bro. Like, for real. No, he looked like where I live. Like, the finest of where I live.
Emotionally abusive to the 6-year-old girl. The little girl's face and body was found to have severe bruising. Police interviewed her and her siblings and found out some seriously disturbing facts. The father would allegedly impose barbaric forms of punishment on the child, including beating and strangling. Another part of his sick punishments involved a hole in the yard that he had dug. He would constantly take the child and bury her alive in the hole in the garden, sometimes overnight. This left the child smelling like sewage, according to police. He's been charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of strangulation, unlawful restraint, false imprisonment of a minor, and endangering the welfare of a child. One attorney told the media it was one of the worst cases of child abuse he'd ever seen.
Did The Simpsons actually do it again? Okay, so we all know about the wildfires in Maui, right? Well, just watch this video and...
I don't understand these videos. Like, I don't understand. I understand, like, the last video, right? Of, like, the guy, you know, the guy from, like, the Wrong Turn movies, you know? Or, like I said, hold on. I gotta go back to him. In case y'all missed it, I gotta go back.
The little girl's face and body was found to have
And if it helps, just...
You gotta go back.
forms of punishment on the child, including beating, and told police the...
Like I said, this is Walter White, who's been smoking that white, snorting that white. We know, bro. We know. And how can you do that to a kid? For real. I'm being for real. How, like, for a minute. Jokes aside, how can you do that to a kid? She's only 6 years old. I know how I was at 6 years old. And I was probably the most, like, innocent, free-spirited person, bro. And you just go and do that to your own daughter, bro. And shouldn't you be wanting to protect her with your life? But he too busy living that Breaking Bad life, right? Right now. Look at him. He looks like, and hey, I haven't even watched Breaking Bad, so, like, I mean, maybe he's coming back, maybe he's filming. I don't know. Isn't it over though?
Horrors that had been going on in their house. They told police that the man had been physically and emotionally abusive to the 6-year-old girl. The little girl's face and body was found to have severe bruising. Police interviewed her and her siblings and found out some seriously disturbing facts. The father would allegedly impose barbaric forms of punishment on the child, including beating and strangling. Another part of his sick punishments involved a hole in the yard that he had dug. He would constantly take the child and bury her alive in the hole in the garden, sometimes overnight. This left the child smelling like sewage, according to police. He's been charged with 3 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of strangulation, unlawful restraint, false imprisonment of a minor, and endangering the welfare of a child. One attorney told the media it was one of the worst cases of child abuse he'd ever seen.
Did The Simpsons actually do...
Okay, now I don't get these Simpsons. Like, what is this true crime? Right? Now back to fucking Walter White back there, right? Again, you have a 6-year-old, and it's you know, your daughter, and you would think that, hey, I gotta protect her with my life. You know, she's 6 years old. You know, especially nowadays, right? And that's the thing. Like, it's scary and sad that some kids, like, grow up with that. You know, them being like, oh, my parents aren't the protectors, you know, they're the aggressors and shit.
Again? Okay, so we all know about the wildfires in Maui, right? Well, just watch this video and let's talk about it after.
That sounds like something to put on a website. Hold on. Are they fucking
So yeah, what do you think about all of that?
You know what I think about all of it? It doesn't deserve to be in a true crime compilation. That's what I think about that.
Whole conspiracy that there was a laser weapon involved in Maui, and the video of the laser that I just showed you was not from Maui. That was from a couple months back, but what if that was the same thing that was used in Maui? Either way, this whole situation is extremely weird and just unsettling. But yeah, let me know your thoughts and if you think The Simpsons predicted it.
Tragedy unfolded in the early hours of Monday morning in Oklahoma this week, which left 5 members of this family dead. The Candy family consisted of Mum, Dad, and their 4 sons, as well as 2 dogs. 3 of these boys were shot dead Monday night, The third boy, the youngest one, who was 10, seemingly slept through all of it. It appears that Dad Jonathan shot his wife Lindsay after an argument.
This is what I don't get, right? Okay. I never got husbands that also bring harm. I'm just gonna say bring harm, but y'all know what I mean. I never got husbands that bring harm to their wives either, right? Or especially like, you know, them situations where it's like kind of like them situations where it's like, oh, if I can't have you, then no one can type shit. What is the purpose of bringing harm to her when you're supposed to care? I don't know. Like this ass
He then shot 3 of his sons dead. They ranged between the ages of 12 and 18. The youngest son, who was 10 years old, slept through it all, and he woke Monday morning to find his whole family dead. His dad, Jonathan, had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. He phoned 911 and told them what he'd found. I cannot imagine the horror he felt when he woke to find his whole family gone. My first thoughts when I heard this was, are they sure that it was a murder-suicide? Could somebody have maybe broken in and staged it to look that way? But apparently there were no signs of a break-in, and they are sure that it was Jonathan that killed his family. The question remains is, why did he spare just one child?
This is the last photo of Maura Murray, who disappeared in 2004 in New Hampshire after draining her entire bank account at an ATM. On the day of her disappearance, she told the nursing faculty school that she worked at that she was going to be out of town for a family death. The family said that that was not true. They said that no death had even occurred in the family. Now, after 7 p.m., Murray crashed her car into a tree. A bus driver nearby that witnessed the accident asked her if she needed any help. She declined and urged him to not call the police. He continued driving and decided to...
Okay, I'm sorry. That is I've seen them Ring doorbell cameras, right? Where there was a girl who did that, right? And she came up to the door. It was like, please, somebody's coming to get me, and no one opened the door, right? Well, it's a good thing that nobody opened the door, because there's about 3 or 4 motherfuckers like right behind her in a vehicle that were ready at any moment to hop out and rob whoever was answering the door. Like, so I do get like this shit, but like, and that's kind of a red flag. Wouldn't you want the police to be called? Like, if I'm very interested.
Call the police anyways and report the incident. The police arrived on scene at 7:43 p.m., but Murray was nowhere to be found. Upon investigating the car, they found wine and beer bottles, but they didn't find any of her IDs, credit cards, debit cards, or cell phone. In fact, her credit card, debit cards, and cell phone had not been used in years before her disappearance. In 2019, a radar detected movement around where she lived, so they...
No, like, what do y'all think? Like, what do you think? Whoever's watching, like, what do you think? Like, about this? Like, let's say, right, there's a situation like that. What would you do? That's what always comes to my mind. What would I do? I never know what I would do, honestly, because, like, when it comes, like, I've never had to deal with somebody, like, in my family that's been, like, missing. Thank the universe for that. That I've never had to deal with that. But that was always a fear of mine growing up, getting kidnapped.
Went to investigate the basement. Nothing was found. Police treated this as a missing persons case, but a voluntary missing persons case, because it seemed like she didn't want to be found. As of 2023, her disappearance is still a mystery and still unsolved as to...
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Okay? Because there are people right now, right, that are like 14, 15 years old that are missing. And the police just kind of give up, and they're just like, kind of like, I mean, they don't like give up, but they're just kind of like, oh, well, she doesn't want to be found. But she's only 15 years old. You know what I mean? So, like, it's like age really should be taken into account. Now, if she's over 18, that is kind of hard. because they are kind of like, okay, maybe she doesn't want to be found. You know? So, like, age does get put into the equation because when the person is over the age of 18, they're pretty much considered an adult. So if they want to leave without telling anybody, they can do that. You know what I mean?
Why she decided to do all this. Let me know what you guys think about Maura Murray's case in the comment section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes only.
1-year-old Roman Santos, who was the subject of an Amber Alert recently, has been found and taken into police custody. Roman was abducted on April 21st after his 17-year-old mother, Angelica Santos, was shot dead by her ex-boyfriend, 39-year-old Elias Huazar. Elias had also just shot dead his ex-wife, Amber Rodriguez, outside an elementary school in front of their 9-year-old son. The ex-policeman had then fled in the direction of Mexico.
Huh? What now? In front of the kid. This shit honestly made me sad for real. No one needs to go through shit like this, like for real. You know, and there's like such evil in this world today. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, the shit people do to each other nowadays. Just for their own gain. It's actually saddening, y'all, because I actually legitimately care for everyone. You know? I care for everyone, and I have such a empathetic soul about me that, like, shit like this actually does bother me.
With his 1-year-old son, Roman. Elias was actually due to appear in court on Monday this week, which is when the killings occurred. He was accused of the rape of 2 girls, his ex-girlfriend and her friend. He was actually out on bail when the murders occurred. It's alleged that he used to work at the school where his ex-girlfriend attended. He groomed this child, he then got her pregnant, and he's now murdered her, leaving their son without a mother. This is the moment 1-year-old Roman was rescued by police officers after a pursuit with Elias. Elias was actually found in the front seat of his car. He was dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The search for this 12-year-old boy came to a tragic end this month, almost 4 years after he went missing. This story is just sad all around, even more so because Jalen's mother, who never lost hope of finding him, passed away in September last year. Joanne had actually suffered a double tragedy, first with Jalen going missing, and then her other son, Jalen's older brother, being shot dead just...
A double tragedy. A double tragedy. So if y'all didn't, you know, basically her one son went missing. Her other son got inflicted by a BULET. A BULET. If you guys know what I mean, a BULET. Yeah, BULET.
Steps away from their family home. She lost her 12-year-old son and then her 18-year-old son within 3 months of each other. 12-year-old Jalen went missing on the 4th of August 2020. He was going out to the shop just like a normal day. He told his mum he'd be home soon, but he never returned home. His body was found on April 15th this year. He was in the attic of a house just 5 miles away from his family home. He was found by a utility worker that had gone into the attic of this home. They'd found Jalen's body and it was that badly decomposed that he had to be identified via dental records, which just shows how long he has been up there.
Hold on. I just need a little break. I need a little break. Y'all have any messages to put in the chat? Put some messages in the chat because I need some messages to read right now because this is a lot. Like, whoa, I didn't think this would be a lot, but, you know, it's a lot. Like, look at this man right here. Look at the little man right there. That's sad. That's a shame. That is a, for real, shame that people would do that. especially to children. You know what I mean? It's not the move.
Birthday memorial service was held this week for Jalen as he would have turned 16 on April 22nd. The investigation is obviously still ongoing and police are trying to work out what he was doing up there, who put him up there, what happened to him, how he died, and how long he has been in that attic.
A 23-year-old exchange student from Brazil was left paralyzed after eating a can of soup. This is Claudia de Albuquerque Salada. She was living in Aspen, Colorado when all of this went down in February, and she had been in America on an exchange program. So one day in February, Claudia began to feel ill at work. She was experiencing a shortness of breath, blurred vision, and dizziness. She went home that evening, but it wasn't bad enough to go to the hospital. The next day, however, she messaged her family and friends and said that the sickness was only getting worse. And when her friends arrived to bring her to the hospital, she could barely breathe on her own and her face was almost entirely paralyzed. Now, they believe that Claudia had contracted botulism, which is a very, very rare disease that is contracted usually from eating contaminated foods. Apparently, it took 15 days after Claudia's first symptom appeared to diagnose her with botulism, but at that point, she was too far gone. And botulism is a pretty deadly disease. It's a very rare but serious illness that attacks the body's system through a toxin. So we don't have any formal update on Claudia yet, but she has been left almost...
Hopefully she's good. I hope she recovers from her botulism. That shit sounds like ass. Honestly. Like, that shit sounds like a pile of ass. Ain't even gonna lie to y'all. A pile of ass.
Completely paralyzed. And with hospital bills being over $10,000 a day here in America, her bill was absolutely enormous.
Yeah.
If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast that I co-host with my wife, Murder in America, available on all streaming platforms.
Go check it out.
My daughter gave birth to my 7 children.
Oh, okay, he's putting...
To find her on 2 separate occasions just to speak with her. After his arrest, he was banned from using someone down using social reference to his book. This dude took it so personally. He traveled from London.
Alright, hold on. Sorry, y'all.
Reference to his the UK, who posted his unfinished book online. He received a lot of positive feedback for his book, but one person, Paige Rollin, left a comment that irked him. She commented, "Bored out of my skull," in reference to his book. This dude took it so personally. He traveled from London to Scotland, about 500 miles. That's where he found Paige stacking cereal in the cereal aisle, grabbed a wine glass, and smashed it over her head. Despite having a wine glass smashed on her head, thankfully she wasn't really injured.
See, this is what, a lot of people take internet shit a lot seriously than it's like, okay, right? People would probably leave comments, right? Like in the future, be like, "Oh, Bryce, you ugly." That doesn't mean I'm gonna pull up on them in real life, or if I ever see them out in real life, I'm gonna do what he did. No, because I don't care, because that's internet. This is the internet. We're on the internet. The internet is not real life. Social media is not real life. I mean, it is to an extent. Y'all know what I mean. Like, I try not to take whatever this is, or comments I get home. I try not to take it personally online. This man, straight up, just pulled up on her, no hesitation. Why, though? Like, that's what I don't get. Why? Over her saying that she's bored of his book? Well, maybe his book is fucking boring. Ever think about that? I mean...
Following the attack, Richard Britton was arrested and served 30 months in prison. It also should be noted, he tracked her down using Facebook. And this was not his first incident of tracking someone down using social media. In university, he had a classmate named Ella Durant that he stalked. He used her Instagram and Twitter to find her on 2 separate occasions just to speak with her. After his arrest, he was banned from using electronic devices to find out where people were.
This motherfucker needs to be banned from the internet.
car. Which honestly, smart move. This dude is weird. It's like real life you. Let me know what you guys think about the Richard Britton case in the comments section below. And as always, these videos are for informational purposes.
That's what I think.
The man in that video, Sergio Maria Lima de Santana, died while he was vlogging when a support beam collapsed and the zipline that he was on came crashing to the ground. 39-year-old Sergio was an average guy, and he was on vacation at a resort in Brazil called the Canoa Quebrada Resort. On that day, Sergio decided he wanted to make use of the zipline that was on property. After all, it looked like a beautiful, fun thing to go do. But he had no idea that a part of the zipline support structure was weak. And tragically, Sergio heading down the zipline was the straw that broke the camel or zipline's back. In the video, Sergio...
Motherfucker. Okay. And don't take offense, because I say that about everybody. I call everyone that. This motherfucker said break the zipline's back. I'm all for jokes, right? I'm all for jokes. But in a situation like this, I try not to joke like that. This man, like, I know why he put it in there, bro. It's TikTok. I mean, like, but like, man, that was kind of distasteful, I think. A little bit. That was a little bit distasteful.
Sergio can be seen smiling, hollering, and enjoying his last moments on Earth, before suddenly the zipline collapses and he plummets to his death. This is an actual picture of local investigators checking out the collapsed support beam. After this incident, officials in the local city banned all ziplines for the moment. And eventually, the 35-year-old owner of the zipline company was charged with manslaughter in Sergio's death. I don't know exactly who got charged with what or convicted of what in this case, but this video is definitely haunting, disturbing, and it was captured sadly in multiple angles.
But again, you made that joke. I'm not trying to rip on this dude, but again, he did make the joke, right? And people are like, oh, it's just a joke, but yeah, but that is tragic, bruh. That is tragic. And I just think that is just something you shouldn't joke about, really.
If you want to hear more true crime stories, listen to the podcast Murder in America that I co-host with my wife, Courtney. It's available on all streaming platforms.
5-year-old boy named Patrick Morrissey saved his mom and helped solve a murder mystery. This happened to the Morrissey family, which consisted of Linda K. Morrissey and Joe Morrissey, and their adopted son, Patrick Morrissey. Victims of a home invasion, and even when they complied to everything, it wasn't enough because the dad's last words to his son was, Patrick, just lay down and pretend that you're sleeping. After that, he ends up getting stabbed to death. What the fuck? Before the robbers left, the robber ends up pouring gasoline on the floor and lights the house on fire. Since Linda was still tied up, the only person that could save her was Patrick. He grabs the scissors, gives it to her. She's able to cut the bonds off. They make it out alive. During the interrogation of Linda, she says that she has a hunch on who it might be, a tenant from them.
Right now, I'm suing him because I fell down the stairs in the house because of the lack of repairs. He stopped talking to me because of the lawsuit.
Did you call anybody?
Actually, my son called me. He needed money, but I won't help you.
Which son?
Randy Jr. First off, he's warned by the law. Secondly, this is a crack addict.
They go get Randy Jr., they interrogate him.
I did not commit this murder. I did call my dad. It's been a good father. Like, he tried to direct me the right way and I go the wrong way.
And at this point, the investigators are kind of frustrated because they don't have no solid leads to anybody. And then out of nowhere, Randy Sr.'s younger son, Sean, calls the cops and says, straight up, my dad did it. And the cops are like, all right, how the fuck are we going to believe you? How do we know that you didn't do it? And then he was like, all right, give me 2 hours with him. I'll get him to confess to the whole thing. They end up putting...
I can't believe I'd never heard of this sickening hazing death. Tim Piazza was a 19-year-old student at Pennsylvania State University. On a fateful night in February 2017, he was served 18 drinks in less than 90 minutes during
18 drinks, right? 18 drinks. Now, I could get down with some drinks, you know. When I get down on drinks, I get down, right? But 18 drinks, bro. Shit, like I would have to be in like the biggest depths of depression for 18 drinks. And even me, And even me, like when I am just casually drinking or whatever, you know, I whatever happened that day or just whatever, right? And you know, I do that. There ain't no 18 drinks. I like shit. I'm a heavyweight like Mike Tyson when it comes to drinking, but shit, I ain't no fucking 18 drinks.
A pledge initiation called the Gauntlets.
There's
Now,
no
he'd
such thing.
eaten virtually nothing beforehand, and the activity involved each pledge drinking from a vodka bottle, downing a beer, and then drinking from a bag of wine. Due to being extremely intoxicated, he actually fell down a flight of stairs and knocked himself unconscious. 4 males then carried him up the stairs onto a sofa and prodded him to try and wake him up. When he failed to regain consciousness, instead of just ringing emergency services straight away, they just walked away and left him. Now, a newly initiated member called Cordell Davis actually tried to call for help when he saw what a state Tim was in. However, rather than coming to the rescue, one of the frat members actually held him up against a wall and told,
Of course, frats. Y'all wonder why I ain't fucking with college. Y'all wondering why I don't fuck with college. That is, I know I'm talking softly right now, but that is the reason that I don't fuck with college.
him that they had it under control. Throughout the night, Tim's condition just got progressively worse. He would regain consciousness, get up or try and get up, and then fall over at least another 4 times. Finally, 12 hours after his initial fall, they eventually called 911 for him. However, it was too late to save Tim. He was taken to hospital, but he did die the following day. Tragically, the surgeon told Tim's family that if help had been called sooner, Tim may still be alive today. This case resulted in one of the largest hazing prosecutions in US history. 18 members of the fraternity were charged. 8 were charged with involuntary manslaughter and the rest with other offenses, including hazing.
On November 8, 2010, Jennifer Pan, she called 911, right?
Good to know, guys. Alright, so I've been streaming for about 39 minutes. When it reaches an hour, when the stream reaches an hour, that's when I'm going to wrap it up. So, guys, get in the cash apps, get in the comments while you can.
Where are you? Do you spell the name for me, please? Dad?
What is the most disturbing fucking calls, for real?
Hello? And I heard shots like pops. I don't know what's happening. I'm tied upstairs.
That whole day was just a regular ass day. The dad ended up going upstairs to sleep, and then the mom was downstairs just watching TV. I waited till like 9:30 p.m. She went to the door and like unlocked it, and then you just see the light in one of the rooms in the house flick on and off twice to the side. And she had also sent a text to David, which was one of the hitmen, saying VIP access. They go in, ask for all the money, tied her to a banister, and shot her parents after.
Yeah, but the way she sounds, it sounds like she was not.
I do remember this case. This case was actually very popular because it was on a lot of body language analyst YouTube channels. So yeah, this case is very popular. Where, you know, she was a college student and she had a boyfriend and her parents were very strict and, you know, she brought some harm to her parents.
Behind all this stuff.
Exactly. How could she have called 911 while she was tied? Keep in mind it's a break-in, right? How the fuck are they gonna leave money in plain sight? And they're also gonna leave a Benz, a Lexus, when the keys were on top of the counter. Everything was still intact, bro. The only thing that happened was the mom died, but the dad, he was induced in a coma. And then on November 12th, the dad wakes up from the coma. The dad wakes up from the coma and says that she was in on it. When they were there, they were tied up and shit. She was walking around with them and talking and discussing the plan.
Imagine finding out your dad was an escaped murderer using a false identity. In 1967, a killer escaped. William Arnold was a young man who had killed his parents when he was a teenager and had been placed behind bars.
What is this thing with, like, bringing harm to parents, parents bringing harm to their children? What is this relationship dynamic? that we got in modern day between like parents, kids, and then kids with parents.
However, he managed to escape from his prison in Nebraska.
Of course, Nebraska.
And for decades, nobody heard from him. Recently, a DNA test has uncovered the truth about what happened to the escaped killer. In 1958, William got into an argument with his parents. They wouldn't let him use their car to take his girlfriend to the cinema, so he shot them to death.
I hope that when I have a kid, or if, because I don't know if that's really going to happen, but if I have a kid, right? Imagine, right? For anybody that's just tuning in, right? And I'm going to have to use some words, right? He got mad and used a Hewlett, a bullet, or a bullet on his parents because they denied him to go to the cinema. I wish that I tried some shit like that and see how fast that gun gets turned around on me, or that weapon.
Shockingly, he then buried them in the garden and still had the time to take his girlfriend to the drive-in cinema. He managed to hide the truth for a while, telling family and friends that his parents were on a trip. However, weeks later, he ended up confessing and being sentenced to life in prison, aged just 17. While in prison, William and his friend hatched an escape plan. They managed to break free in 1967 and no one ever heard from William again. Police later discovered he changed his name to John Damon and started a whole new life. He met a woman, married her, and helped to look after her 4 children. They then later divorced and he moved to Australia. He remarried and actually had children of his own. He passed away in 2010 and everyone remembered John Damon as such a great dad. But in 2022, the truth came out. Investigators had been working behind the scenes to figure out what happened to William Arnold, and eventually they told his family the truth. Speaking to a news station, William's son said this: "Although it's shocking to know that his life began with a terrible crime, his legacy is so much more than that. I want him to be remembered for being a good father, a provider to us, and instilling in me a passion for music and a drive to always be the best person I can be."
Did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself? Let's talk about it. Jeffrey Epstein had allegedly attempted suicide.
Dennis would later go on to justify him abusing corpses by saying that they don't feel anything or suffer, so it was fine for him.
Couple of months, and that the mom has memory problems and can't really recall what's going on. This was obviously concerning, but on August 1st, 2021, this all came to a head when Chris Chen was arrested on a felony incest charge. Yes, Chris was accused of actually having sex.
If you do decide to look at the pictures of his body, look close.
All right. This is getting kind of wild now, right? This is getting kind of wild. All right, I'm gonna go back to the solo layout. All right, guys, I know this is a short stream. I've been doing short streams lately, but I've been having stuff to do during the day, and I've been kind of busy, you know. Working on the podcast, right? Season two. I should have something within the coming month or two for y'all. I don't know if it's going to be clips. I don't know what it's going to be. It might not be clips, but it will probably be some promotional stuff for season 2 coming soon. All right, guys. This has been Bryce from the What's Happening podcast. I'll see you guys later. I don't know when I'm going to stream again, so I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace. Also, don't forget, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, right? Hit that bell. And also, if you would like to donate or support the show, support the stream, there's my cash. All right. Peace for real.